After a night of drinking and celebration, the pilgrims awake to the sound of knocking on the door. Three guards enter, wearing foreign uniforms and gold amulets inscribed with the crest of Everesca.
We are looking for Ayun Peren Eliadon. Important events have transpired and he has duties to attend to.
Says the leader of the Everesca guards.
I don't know anyone named Alan, but I know a Peren. He's traveling with us as an adventurer.
Says Nix.
Ayun is his title. In your tongue, you might pronounce it Prince. Dula Thenorian is now under the direct control of the King of Everesca. The former colony has been taken back into the fold and requires assistance during the interim governmental transition. It is Prince Peren's duty to assist in this endeavor.
Explains the leader of the Everesca guards. Peren comes out of his room and talks to the guards. He convinces them to give him a few minutes to get ready. They hand him a scroll of activities and duties scheduled for him to do over the next day. Once the Everesca guards leave the room, the pilgrims frantically discuss what is going on and try to figure out what this means for their quest. Nix convinces Peren to strip under the guise of making a body double, then bursts out laughing, revealing the prank. Before Peren can make a rebuke, there is a commotion from the window. A crowd gathered around a newly constructed wooden platform suddenly goes silent, and a voice rings out.
On behalf of the King of Everesca, I, your Lord Regent and acting ruler Tilithero, declare the following sentences. For the crimes of treason, disobeying a royal order, and disrespecting an agent of the crown, the sentence is death. For the crimes of gross negligence and dereliction of duty, the sentence is death. For the crimes of...
The Lord Regent continues announcing sentences as Kator urgently asks Peren.
Can you stop this?
Yes.
Then stop this madness. Let's get down there.
The pilgrims arrive just as the Lord Regent finishes reading out the sentences and the crowd murmurs. Nix, Peren, Kator and Jack try to convince the Lord Regent to halt the executions. During their conversation with the Lord Regent, the pilgrims of Four discover that the former king of Everesca has died of disease, and Peren's father is the new king. The city is flooded with an army of Everescan troops, and King Mr. E-Man is to be executed for negligence and dereliction of duty.
I have signed orders from the king,
Says Lord Regent Tilitharel.
Am I not the highest-ranking official on this continent?
Rebukes Peren.
Yes. However, I cannot disobey a signed order from the crown.
As the Crown Prince, I have the authority to choose my own staff, and once someone is serving me as a staff member, I can pardon them from any and all crimes, regardless of the time of the infringing behavior. I am declaring these 5 prisoners are now under my employ effective immediately, and I grant them pardon, pending further investigation.
Says Peren.
This is highly unusual, but you are technically correct. I shall halt these executions.
You can tear down the gallows as well. They won't be needed.
Says Peren.
With all due respect, we'll keep the gallows as they are, even if there are no further executions scheduled.
The Lord Regent signs up Nix for clothing fitting to be the Prime Secretary of the Crown Prince, and for classes to learn the Elvish language. The pilgrims head back to their suite and discuss the events further.
How many Everescan kings have been assassinated in the past?
Asks Kator.
6 that I know of.
Says Peren.
So, is it possible the disease that took the previous Everescan king was actually the effects of poison?
Says Kator.
It has been a long time since I was home, and I'm not sure if I really knew my parents' true selves. It is difficult to judge when they wear layers of metaphorical masks. Perhaps my father is responsible for this.
Says Peren.
Wait, before we continue, we should check to see if anyone is trying to spy on us magically.
Jack says as he casts Sanctuary. He feels 3 listening spells snap and disperse, and tells everyone. Elsa holds up a piece of parchment with the words, "Don't talk out loud," written on it. After a note-passing discussion, the group has some guards fetch the prisoners. At this time, they find that one of the guards is deaf and missing his ears. He stands beside the door in the hallway and continually looks in one direction, then the other. He refuses money and refuses to leave his post, saying he might be executed if he does not perform his duties. Robin tries to distract the deaf guard by dancing. She flings herself around the hallway, moving her adolescent gnomish form as if it were fluid for several moments before attaching herself to a vertical pole. Her short legs wrap around the pole as her dress hikes up, her arms wave and flail in a sexually provocative manner as her slender yet powerful legs spin her around the pole. Her spotless dress flaps around as she moves, purposefully revealing her thighs and panties as she pole dances with her hands in the air and shakes her shoulders provocatively. The guard's head rotation stops as his eyes fix on the scene. Unable to turn away, he watches until the dance stops, and then he straightens his back and quickly checks both directions before letting out a relieved sigh. Meanwhile, the pilgrims question the prisoners. King Mr. E. Man appears to be walking brain dead, and the other prisoners are uncomfortable talking about it. When Robin returns to the room, she recognizes one of the guards as a fellow thief and talks to him in thieves' cant. The guard, referred to as Uncle because he is higher ranking than Robin, tells her that Grandfather, the code name for elderly figure of power, was bitten, attacked or injured by a green dog, any four-legged creature. Through some investigation, the pilgrims find the king has a brand on his lower back, in the pattern of a dragon claw. The brand appears to be burned into the flesh with acid, but the claw mark is too small to be even a baby dragon. Kator tries to calm the other guard, using lesser restoration to take the edge off her fear. Speaking to a fellow elf, Kator's usual social stumbles seem less obvious, and he carefully prods for data without pressuring the female guard. After much coaxing, the female guard tells the story of what happened to her king.
Years ago, the king was beloved by all and ruled peacefully and happily. Then one day, a hooded figure appeared. We only know him as the visitor, and no one ever saw his face. He was large and wore a dark cloak. After he spoke to the king, Mr. E-Man's personality completely changed. No stopped the northern patrols, disbanded the Magical Research Guild, and exiled the researchers from the city. He bolstered the city defenses and ordered the construction of a wall of illusion so that outsiders would not be able to find the city. We still have 4 or 5 wizards on shifts maintaining the spell. Months later, an elvish task force from Rapido arrived at the northern gate. They were heavily injured, and several of them were infected with the red fungus. They spoke to the king, and then he started screaming, "I can't do it! I can't! I can't!" over and over again. Then he fell silent. He hasn't spoken since that day. He hasn't been able to communicate at all.
The guard trails off.
There are unique dangers to royalty and unique responsibilities. It is one of the many reasons why I never wanted to be a king or even a prince.
Says Peren.
I think this is all connected.
Says Kator.
I think the visitor serves the same masters that caused the Red Plague, the same ones that worship green dragons and branded the king. It sounds like the visitor has some sort of powerful mind control magic. If the task force from Rapido dispelled the effect, maybe the spell breaking is what broke the king's mind?
Yes, it's a Gias. Such powerful magic often has dangerous effects when dispelled.
Says Jack.
Maybe if we attack the source of the Red Plague, it will lure out those responsible so we can draw them into a trap?
Suggests Kator. The pilgrims hear the thunk of an arrow biting into wood, then see Thoraxia grab the shaft and bring it to the table. Jack tries to grab it, but she bats his hand away and presents it to Kator. Tied around the arrow shaft is a note, which Kator opens to see ranger symbols. North, fast pathway, high moon today,
Pilgrims, we have our heading.
announces Kator.
These symbols look like something a ranger would carve into the side of a tree. It's unusual to see them on paper, but clearly we have an ally nearby. They want to meet us north of town at midnight tonight, and there will be a pathway.
Nyx asks the god Morpheus for help in finding the path and is rewarded with a dream vision that goes down the big-ass tree, through the streets, past some dead guards, and out the north gate.
Did Nyx just have a seizure?
Asks Peren.
I think it's a druid thing.
Says Kator. The royal tailor enters the room without knocking, finds Nyx and asks him and Peren to strip. Peren says that Nyx and Worm should get their clothing fitted before him.
Who is Worm?
Asks the tailor.
This is...
Says Nyx as he holds out the poisonous frog in front of him. The tailor grabs the frog and begins trying to measure the legs and back, then slows down considerably. Jack breaks his concentration from a spell to try to assist, fearing that Worm will claim another innocent victim. Several resist poison spells. Later, Nix grabs Worm back from the tailor and says,
You look like you need to go to sleep. Make sure to wear gloves next time you try touching my frog.
The tailor lies down to sleep off the poison, and Jack restarts his identify spell. Robin says she has an idea for how to make the city think Peren is still here after they leave, and grabs some of his clothes and money before rushing out the door. After a brief afternoon nap, the pilgrims wake up and notice that the guards near the north gate are being killed by an unseen ranger. Nix turns Peren into a hawk, so he isn't seen fleeing the city, and the rest of the group head down the stairs and toward the gate. Peren makes it over the physical wall and through the magical illusion wall, but not much farther before flying straight into a sturdy branch and falling to the ground. With his eyes closed, he hears someone shouting.
I vent my wrath upon thee.
When the shouting stops, someone picks him up and begins carrying him away. Meanwhile, the pilgrims pass by the bar and see a large sign that says, "Celebration for Peren giving away his virginity. Bring your own lube." With a crowd of eager people headed down the stairs in the direction the sign points. As the adventurers rush past, they hear someone announcing,
Come on, right this way.
Robin, that's disgusting.
says Bjorn. Robin giggles. The pilgrims pass by the dead guards and rush out of the city, all killed by black arrows. They head north to try to meet up with Peren, but are instead confronted by a ranger holding a hawk.
Where is he? Where is Peren?
She asks.
I think that's him you're holding.
Says Kator.
Who are you?
It isn't safe here. Follow me.
She says. Miles down the road and away from the main path, she leads them to her camp with a warm fire.
My name is Valencil, and I was sent here by Peren's mother to rescue him.
Says the Black Arrow Ranger. She is wearing an amulet depicting Uiloseth, but instead of the usual likeness, it has half a face of a high elf and half a face of a drow.
What is the meaning of that strange amulet?
Asks Peren, now in his usual moon elf form.
You don't know? It is a story they used to tell at the monastery.
Says Elsa.
I'll let you tell it.
Says Valencil.
You guys remember that story I told you about the Golden Five, right? Well, this one is also about them.
Says Elsa.
Willoseth was the magic user of the group, but they also had a warlock. The cleric was named Alfie, and both the barbarian and the warlock were madly in love with her. But she would not accept their advances because she didn't want to hurt the feelings of the man she didn't choose. One day, in the heat of battle, an arrow is aimed at the warlock, and although the barbarian sees it and has the chance to deflect it, he chooses not to. He thinks that this is his chance to be the only suitor for Alfie. But Alfie saw the arrow as well and jumped in front of it, taking it in the heart. After the battle, the warlock begs to his patron god Temorglum, "Is there a way to bring Alfie back to life?" The god answers, "There is a ritual." The warlock convinces the rest of the Golden Five to perform the ritual on the land that would later become Four Corners. As they complete the ritual, tentacles of Temorglum crack open the land from beneath and reach out to attack. The Golden Five defeat the appendages and demonic servants and push Temorglum's influence back down to whence it came.
While Elsa tells the story, Jack and Kater suddenly realize how similar it is to the vision they had of the future. Fire, shadowy tentacles, demons, cracks in the ground. Temorglum is the evil they are fighting against now. They listen intently, keen to not make the same mistakes as the Golden Five. Elsa continues.
Years later, Temorglum got his revenge. Through subtle influence and a slow-growing infection, he warped the Golden Five into beings of hatred and death. The warlock turned into a red dragon. The barbarian became a giant. The rogue became a vampire, named Tamil Cherrywood. Willoseth became the first drow elf. The only one to escape was Alfie. She instead ascended to become a guardian saint, a holy avatar of the light. Tamil Cherrywood, Tam Cherrywood, the leader of the Thieves' Guild in Four Corners. Some of us have already met him,
Says Elsa.
The red dragon ravaging the western lands. That might be the warlock.
Says Kator.
And Uiloseth is probably in the Underdark. She might even be the one causing the spread of the Red Plague, if she really has been turned into a being of hatred and death. But I haven't heard about any unusual giant, so the barbarian is still missing.
This amulet
says Valensil.
signifies that we are all one blood. We are all elves. The attack by Temorglum happens every 3,000 years, and the first one was 6,000 years ago. We're due for another soon.
So where do we go now? Attack the Red Plague? Head to Rapido? We can't get to Everesca quickly enough. It would waste too much valuable time,
says Kator.
I was sent to rescue Peren and guide you all to 2 locations. Alec Azam is in Rapido and has requested rescue. Apparently, he's not satisfied with the quantity or variety of buxom maidens taking care of him in his faux prison. Karen Quartz is in the northern part of Adosi Forest. She's a mage and former researcher from Dulathanorian trying to stop the red fungus,
says Valensil. Before going to bed, the pilgrims have some food with Valensil and her quiet accomplice, Silifrey. In the morning, they eat another meal together, but Silifrey remains silent as they decide where to go next. Once they decide to go to Karen Quartz, they head in a direction of the forest that has much more undergrowth. Branches and bushes prevent the group from seeing more than a few dozen feet in front of them, but they follow Valensil's lead. Robin gets bored and eats a candy of haste, runs up a 300-foot tree, sees blotches of red infection in taller trees off in the distance, and turns to see pillars of smoke rising from Dulathanorian. She hops on her new flying broom, adorns her wide-brimmed witch's hat, and flies down to tell the party.